brand new, exclusive, first time on the channel, this particular brand. We've seen a kind of rebrand of lately, and one of the oldest Irish single grain whiskies released to date. One of the oldest, not the oldest, but in the group of the oldest. And this one goes out to all my American amigos, because this, my friends, is exclusive to the good old US of A, America. And I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I would bet these won't last that much longer. But rest assured, the Chaser has got you covered. My friends, let's drink some whiskey. Welcome to Whiskey and Whiskey. I'm the Whiskey Chaser Brian here in Christy's bar, Kilkenny. Hope you're doing awesome. So a number of months ago, this little ducky came across my desk from a fellow whiskey lover in the States, a wonderful Mr. Matt Morrison. And I have to say, I jumped at the opportunity straight away and purchased a bottle for myself. Now, if you're looking at the bottle at this particular moment in time, you would think that I have a drinking problem. And I can assure you, this was cracked open for my most recent April tasting and shared amongst 27 other insanely awesome Irish whiskey enthusiasts. I just happened to save a little for the channel so I can do this video. Lucky. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Kilbeggan 19-year-old single grain small batch, bottled exclusively for fine wines and good spirits outlets that are in Pennsylvania, I believe. So it's certainly not very often we see this kind of an age statement of a single grain whiskey hit the Irish market. I mean, there are definitely some out there, but they are a bit scarce on the ground, and some of them have become even more of a collector's item at this stage. Kilbeggan, of course, formerly of the Green Ore brand from Cooley distillery. That name was discontinued and then brought back under the Kilbeggan brand name. I'm guessing that this has to do with marketing and getting the brand name in line with their recommissioned distillery that started back up distilling in 2007. And that was from being shut back in 1957. Kilbeggan Distillery itself was originally acquired by Dr. John Teeling in 1987 after he repurposed an old potato factory and turned it into only the third fully operating distillery at the time. Whiskey distillery. So since Kilbeggan only really began distilling back in 07, this does clearly state that it was distilled in Cooley in 2000. It's pretty much written on the back of the bottle. Somewhere there, quite literally. Cooley. Now, Irish grain whiskey is typically very light. It's elegant, and some might say smooth. And some would say it works incredibly well with bourbon cask to deliver a light spirit, but one that brings out certain nuances from the bourbon oak, which I'm guessing is why this was chosen for the American market, because on the back, it quite literally references its flavor to that of bourbon while incorporating that smooth Irish quality. I believe that's marketing 101, folks. We're trying to get bourbon heads on board for the Irish. Also, couple that with the mash bill here, which is a 95% corn and 5% malted barley. You are really seeing quite a high corn ratio, which is reminiscent of Green Ore whiskeys, is what I was told. Now, I did pick this up for about $89 in the US. I will leave a link below for that. There are a few still available according to the website. However, it cost me nearly the same in the end to get it back to Ireland, which is an absolute nightmare to do. But as it turns out, I do love hardship and whiskey, so here it is. This is a 46% ABV or 92 proof Irish whiskey and roughly between 260 to 300 bottles available. Oh, and this is a 750ml bottle too, so 50ml more for us in Ireland than normal. Happy days. Now, before we move on to the tasting, if you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed. And if you like that video, give us a thumbs up and consider sharing it with your friends and family and loved ones and all those that love Irish whiskey. And let's build this beautiful thing together. Subscribe. Hand selected and bottled exclusively for fine wine and good spirits. Distilled from a mash of 95% corn and 5% malted barley. Filled in September 2000 and matured for the next 19 years exclusively in ex-bourbon barrels. Among the oldest single grain Irish whiskey ever released. Its corn-heavy mash and maturation in ex-bourbon barrels in the old warehouses at Kilbeggan and Cooley distilleries result in a beautiful full-bodied flavor profile, similar to American bourbon, with the characteristic smoothness of Irish whiskey. And I took that excerpt right from the horse's mouth on the website and the back of the bottle here. Once again, 46% ABV, $89 plus tax, 750ml, 19 years, exclusively an ex-bourbon. And what blew my mind when I got this, ladies and gentlemen, it's twist cap. What? 19-year-old single grain Irish whiskey and it's twist cap? What a fucking laugh. And we pour. All right, so I've given this a minute or two just to kind of come up to room temperature or breathe a little bit, as some would say. And yeah, let's get it on the nose. So firstly, the immediate thing that strikes you when you nose this is its lightness, its elegance. Now, coupled with that, there's a small bit of alcohol at the fore. Once you start getting into the nose, you're getting a little bit of toasted oak, but what you're really, really getting, and what's quite lovely about this, is that real nice vanilla caramel tone cutting across the whole thing. It really that comes to mind straight away. And now, this is something I struggle with all the time, but I get it very much so on this, is the nose of coconut. It's very obvious to me, and that's a note that I would typically struggle with when it comes to Irish whiskey notes or trying to get it off the nose. There's even a little bit of kind of orange zest on the nose there as well. Like I said, Irish grain whiskey, in my mind, quite elegant, quite delicate. Yeah, you know, it's lovely, lovely on the nose. Let's have a little up, let's launch it. Oh, really good. Oh my God, that's beautiful. It's so simplistic. It's just the sweetness, your vanilla sweetness, caramel sweetness. You're getting a lot of the notes from the bourbon, that toasted oak kind of note, the citrus note very much there, and that's really nice. It's intertwined again, coconut coming through. Oh, even on the palate then left over, you're getting just this reminiscent kind of all those bourbon notes hanging around with a bit of vanilla and a bit of oak shavings. Oh, that deserves another mouthful. Sláinte. Yeah, a little bit of the grain notes. There's kind of corniness to it. Very subtle though. Still sticking around a little bit. Touch, when you search for it, you can get those little bit of corn notes in there, but you're mostly getting that sweetness from the vanilla, the coconut. That's mad. It's very buttery, butterscotchy, even on the finish. That's what I was kind of. That makes more sense now. A little bit of butterscotch. Hell of a lot of flavor. Quite delicate, but yes, okay, I can see where they're going, kind of comparing this with the profile of a bourbon and the smoothness of Irish whiskey, even though I hate calling Irish whiskey smooth, but delicate. 19 years old, wow. That's a special whiskey. Even on the finish, still hanging around, you have that buttery notes, buttery toasted oak, caramels. Quite complex, actually, for a delicate kind of 19-year-old single grain whiskey. Yep. And it was a favorite amongst the whiskeys that we sampled at my tasting a couple of weeks back. So yeah, top quality, top stuff. In my opinion, this is really something very special here. There's not a whole lot of burn either. It's very light and elegant, but absolutely full of flavor. And when we drank this on the night, like I said at my tasting, there was a huge percentage of the attendees that were in agreement that this was one of the best for some of the people on the night. Now, I do think it is really good, but I think I prefer a robust single malt whiskey myself personally, without a shadow of doubt, worth every penny of the $89 and worth picking up. American fans that are watching this, you are in serious luck. There's a link below. I'm not getting paid from any of this, I'm just sharing the love. Now, we don't usually have too many single grains on the channel, so it's nice to expand the profiles and learn a thing or two. If you yourself has had this or something similar to it, leave a comment below and let me know some of your thoughts on it. I'd love to hear it. Oh, a very special thank you to the lads who helped me get this bottle from USA to the bar here. You know who you are, and we thank you very much. You were a tremendous help and were the only reason that we were able to go through with this tasting and indeed put this on the channel. So thank you very much. And as always, thank you to the lads here in Christy's for the support. It's always been tremendous, and we will most certainly be back with some kick-ass whiskeys next week. So make sure you subscribe. Until then, Whiskey Chaser, that's me. I'm going home. We'll talk to you soon. Stay safe. Sláinte.